Welcome to Faith Stories with Dawn DeMarco Buck. In the same way, let your light shine before others so that they will see your good works and give glory to your Father in heaven. Matthew 5:16.
Hello and welcome to Faith Stories. I'm Dawn DeMarco Buck. What is Faith Stories? Faith Stories are Christians from all walks of life who share their stories of faith, hope, and love. How do you do that? Well, it's through His Word, which is the Bible. So if you need a Bible, please reach out to me at faithstorieswithdawn@gmail.com. All right, you guys, my next guest I have never met, but we talked on the phone, we've texted, and she was referred to me by my sweet girlfriend, Paula Applegate. And so wait till you meet her. Her name is Reverend D, and she is a woman always chasing after God's own heart. She's a native New Yorker with a deep history to her southern twisted roots. I love that. I don't know what that means, but we're going to find out. She has been ordained for 25 years, which her spiritual walk has led her to become associate minister in the Baptist Church, local minister in AME Zion Church, and assistant pastor in the Pentecostal Church. She's a retired New York Correctional Officer where she worked with at-risk male and female juvenile offenders. Reverend D is the founder of Womanly Wisdom Ministries that empowers women in transitional stages of life and various parts of the globe who desire their mindset to shift and break generational bondages while building their faith. Reverend D is also the founder of the Valley and Bridges Mentoring Program for adolescent and teenage girls. You're going to meet her right after this.
Broughton Garage Door Sales now offers you a difference with the LiftMaster Secure View Ultra Quiet Smart Opener with camera, LED 360-degree lighting, and battery backup. Built-in camera adds video and two-way audio communication to the MyQ app. You can control, secure, and monitor your garage anytime, anywhere from your smartphone. Schedule today at Broughton.com.
Just simply call Broughton. We open doors for you.
Tavilla Properties, located at 11471 West Sample Road, Suite 17, located in Coral Springs, Florida, for all your commercial needs. Call Jan at 954-341-1632. That's 954-341-1632, or visit www.tavillaproperties.com.
Discover Rosie's Garden. The collection draws inspiration from the beautiful niece of the founder, Rosie, who brought joy to many before passing too soon. Her beauty and spirit are reflected in every piece. Founded by two friends, Rosie's Garden is a female-owned brand passionate about creating stunning, elegant jewelry that embodies the concept of bellissima, the Italian word for beautiful. With a philosophy rooted in grace and elegance, the brand crafts each piece of jewelry using only the finest materials, including 18-karat gold and the highest quality craftsmanship, ensuring that every piece is a true work of art. Welcome back to Faith Stories. If you have any prayer requests, please email me at faithstorieswithdawn@gmail.com. That's faithstorieswithdawn@gmail.com. And welcome back. I was waiting. I was going to start talking before we got back on air. Okay, you guys. So, D. Should I call you Reverend D or D?
What's comfortable.
Reverend D. We're going to call
comfortable.
her Reverend D. Girlfriend. So what do you want to talk about today?
Oh my gosh, my belly is so full right now.
Full with food or full with the Lord?
Just God.
Okay.
Just God, just good stuff. So whatever you desire, I'm here. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk.
Well, I want to talk about, or we could talk.
That's it.
I want to talk about your journey of becoming a pastor, what that looks like, but also being a correctional officer. I think there's a lot of stories there that you can share. And redemption, of forgiveness and redemption, and what that all looks like when you're in that kind of environment.
Right. It's a difficult environment working corrections because you're there
I would think so.
to correct
Right.
someone else's child's behavior.
Right.
And what I realized is that a lot of the staff had the same behaviors, you know, and me coming through some trials and tribulations as a kid, control is something that was always around me.
Really?
And that's how I was able to thrive. So going into that field, I knew that I could control, but yet help the kids at the same time from a deeper level of just being cool and talking with them.
Yep.
And treating them the way that I wanted to be treated.
Absolutely. I think that's key, don't
Yeah.
you? Now, were you a pastor at the time, or were you?
I was a minister at the
Okay.
time in the Baptist church. I was a minister.
Okay.
And it was different. I loved it. I was going through some changes in my own personal life at that time, raising my daughters. And God just stepped in, how he just always steps in and maneuvers things. And when you have God in
does.
your life,
I know.
well,
right?
I knew for me, because I grew up, when you talk about the twisted southern roots,
Yeah,
my great-grandmother raised me.
Okay. Your
So-
great-grandmother raised
Great-grandmother and great-grandfather, right? They raised me. And so they were both ministers. She was in the choir. So my early beginnings started with that. And then having my mom, who was around but wasn't really around. So that abandonment started, you know, at that time.
Of
And
course.
so the only thing I basically knew was the 23rd Psalm, because we said it all
Lord
the
is my
time.
shepherd, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I think knowing that and always having reverence for God and being afraid of him as a kid, because if you do this, you do,
Right,
you know, try to stay on that journey. And so I think that all those things that took place with me when I was younger helped create what you see now. And then even working in corrections, it was very difficult because the unit that I worked was all the kids who came in off the street. So I had all the girls. And so
Wait, now where was this? Was this in New York?
New York, Lansing, New York. It was there. And so we had everybody from downstate and all the girls that came in, whatever the issues were. We were actually on a unit, whereas to correct, to get them acclimated. And it was difficult, but because of what I experienced and because I come from New York City, all that I knew how to work it. I knew how to camouflage. I knew how, and being a kid who basically didn't have their mom, I knew how to camouflage some things with that.
Yeah.
You know, so all of that played into survival. And the twisted roots was basically, you get to New York, it's a whole different beast.
Oh, I know. I live there.
Yeah, it's a whole different
It
world.
totally is.
And it can create.
It's intense.
It is. And so it can create or destroy the very
Right.
person that you are and who you're supposed to become.
That is so true.
And so I realized that over the years, and then it was like ministry was something, because I was always inquisitive about God. Why do I have to listen to him? Like, you know. Yeah,
But
'cause
he doesn't mind that. He likes that.
yeah, but as a
Right?
small kid, you're doing what somebody else
It's
tells you
telling
to
you,
do.
right,
To do.
right.
And then it came a space
true.
whereas I didn't want to hear anything about God because it was like, look, here, that worked in that area.
Right.
I'm here and I'm going to do this my way. But when God keeps his hands on you, that's the twisted piece. He
Okay.
kept his hands on me. And so I knew how to.
That's interesting. That
Yeah.
That's really
Yeah,
interesting.
because when you look at an oak tree, when you really look at a tree, you see the roots
Right.
go down
Deep.
into it.
And then it is
Exactly.
twisted.
And so we're that tree. Then you see the branches, which are our children. And then you see the leaves, which are choices and decisions.
I like that too.
You know, so when the wind blows, the leaf will fall off,
Yep.
but the branches are still there because it's a part of that tree. You know, and so when it's down, when you look at it, it's just solid. It doesn't move. It doesn't break with the wind. It doesn't fall apart. It would take lightning. And so after a while, I saw myself that same way. It would take lightning and thunder for me to give up. And all the challenges as women, period.
Right.
I just continued to strive. And there were some dark areas And I was
Well, there has to be, because
there was lots of dark
because,
areas.
like you said, yes, you were brought up in the faith, but a lot of times, which I find, not all the times, but a lot of times, you walk away because you have to figure out your own faith,
Right,
and
right.
what kind of relationship you want with the Lord, and that's what you were doing. So
Yeah.
during that dark time, what happened?
During that dark time, I made some choices and decisions that felt good, that weren't good. And I could say it was through each part of my life, because I'm a visionary person. And so the people who raised me,
Is.
yeah,
You
the people,
are.
the people who raise you, when you see people who are married, you don't know what goes, you don't know, you just see the people. You don't know what it takes
Right.
to be in it. So you have to emulate. And for me, because I'm a visual, I see things and I'll be like, okay, maybe this is how it's supposed to be, but you have no ingredients. You don't know what goes in the cake.
Yeah.
You just see the outside of it. And so I would look at all those things in life, and I've had some horrible childhood experiences, going through rapes and molestations, and I never said to God, why? Never, because I wasn't there in my thinking of why.
Really?
I wasn't there in my thinking.
Why do you think that is?
Because I didn't know how to process
Okay.
what was happening. And
Okay,
when
that
you
makes
are
sense.
a foster kid, you take whatever kind of comes your way,
Right.
and you figure out, you put it in cabinets. And so I
Right.
put things in cabinets,
Okay.
and whatever I needed to use, and
You
this
would pull it out of the
camouflage,
cabinet, you
exactly,
put it back.
that's the twisted piece. You take out here, and so it was always a battle. It was a battle
bet.
to be me.
Yeah.
Because when you start to hear from God, you're like, not again. Really.
Not again.
Not,
It's like-
yeah, because
you weren't in that space.
I wasn't in that space.
You
but then-
removed yourself from him.
I did, but
Yeah.
because of the prayers that were prayed over me, and then finding out later on with, relatives or whatever, that in my great grandmother's house, it was more than just Christianity. There was, she was a seer, she was prophetic. Lots of things that went on, they sweep it up under the rug
Right.
in the South. They don't say anything.
Explain what a seer is, because I don't know, if everybody understands what that is.
Somebody who has a vision. They can, back then they would call them seers. Somebody who has a vision and they could see things and things would come to pass. Oh, I had a dream about Ellie Mae last night and here she is. Or when people dream about fish, the first thing they say is that somebody's pregnant, and then usually somebody's pregnant. That's, or they can see into somebody's future, or they can, my mom was born with a veil over her face. And so that's
So
an
she
extra piece of
didn't get
skin.
that.
No, the extra piece of skin. So my mom had the prophetic.
Oh, my
yeah,
goodness.
yeah. There's so many things that we don't talk about
Right.
because nowadays it's just. But she had an extra piece of layer that was over her face, and my mom was prophetic. But I always thought that she was just being mean, like.
Right.
She was in the prophetic. She was kind of raised in the church. But then she would come home. There was times I would wake up, and she was, burning sage. So we had a lot of things that was going on in that you don't question. And that was from the roots, our family's roots, and still to this day, like we think about Christianity and we think about some of the other things that are going on, and then we're like, okay, God, are you really in this? And so when somebody say they can see something, you don't take it for face value. Sometimes you can feel it.
Right.
And
you have to have discernment too, and who's
That's
sharing
huge.
that, because you can have someone tell you something and it's not from the Lord.
Oh yeah, that happens a lot.
Yeah.
That happens a lot.
So that means your relationship with the Lord is so important, because you don't want to just receive something and say, oh, this is what God wants me to do. You truly want to bring it to the Lord first. And I have to share something so crazy. I was in prayer one morning, and I never answer the phone ever. And I felt God tell me to answer the call, and it was you.
Okay.
And I can't remember what it was I was praying about. I know it was about faith stories, and you called me and you gave me a prophetic word, and I'm like, I wish I would have let it gone to voicemail so I still have it, because I received it, and whatever that was, I know
Right.
he's moving.
Yeah.
He's moving faith stories.
All right. He is.
Unbelievable.
He is. And that's the piece too, it talks about in Acts when the disciples were walking and they were saying, there was a woman behind them saying, you know, I know who this is. What are you doing here? You know, because she saw the vision. She saw what they were doing, what they came to do. And so sometimes you'll have that. And I think a lot of times people will get it mixed up with other things, you know. So prophetically, I think that we all have the gift. It's how we use it. You know, for me, you know, being tuned in,
Right.
discerning. It's a feeling.
Yes.
It's a right thing. You know.
Yeah.
You just know that this is taking place, or this is, and so I'm very critical about what I say or what's said, because when we begin to speak over people's lives,
Right. You have to be careful.
you have to be real careful
Yeah.
about that, because if somebody is weak in their mind, they begin to take that on, especially if they're going through a whole lot of hardship. And I went through a whole lot of hardship, and I remember people years would always say, you know, you're going to be just like your mom. Well, if she was struggling and if she
Yeah.
didn't have this or she didn't have that, then I actually started to take on attributes.
Ooh, and that's not good.
Exactly, because the mindset, nobody's training the mindset
Right.
to think anything different. You know, when you're 8 years old and they teach you to do the 23rd Psalm, after a while you're going to grow. The Psalm is still going to be there,
Right.
but you're going to grow, so you need something else. So my mindset was not the way it should be, you know, and that's why the word says, you know, renew your mind daily.
You have to.
It's a must, but you know, it comes along with the training. It comes along with somebody being repetitive. You know, hey,
Right.
not just, are you doing your homework, but what are you doing today in your homework? You know, and I'm pretty disciplined with a lot of stuff structured.
Right.
And so I know that for me, I have to stay that way. And because I know the gift is so strong,
Yeah.
you know. But even as a kid, I knew it was there, but nobody trains you on what to do
How to
with
do
it.
with it, yeah.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
what to do. So when you said I called you, it's easy. That's an easy thing for me
Right.
to
But
do.
also it's something where, you know, you received that word for me and you don't just automatically do it. It's like you discern, do I share this? Because it may not be something that needs to be released right this
good.
minute, right?
That's good. One of the things I was just saying with Paula today is that I'm working on a boot camp.
Boot camp.
Book for a prophetess.
Okay.
The do's and don'ts. And those do's and don'ts are, like you just said, when are you supposed to give somebody a word? Because when people say, oh, you know, I received that, they say it because they've been trained and they hear this from other people. What are they really receiving? Like today with the oil, you said, no, I can't. And even though the Spirit had already told me that you wouldn't be able, but I didn't want to come empty-handed, if that
Right.
makes sense.
Sure.
And so I couldn't get offended because of how you felt, because I already knew. But the kind gesture, you know, so it's like when you know something, and that's how it works with the Spirit, knowing when to speak it, because a lot of times people are not ready for a prophetic word. They want to hear the good stuff.
Oh, yeah, but it's also, you know, we don't live in a perfect world.
No, not at
and
all.
so there's good, there's the bad, and there's the ugly, you know, and I like to grow in my walk with the Lord.
Exactly.
And I don't want to stay static, because
Right.
that's not what He wants from us, right? And so you have to be able to be in the Word every day. So I want to go back to your time with the kids,
Okay.
and also your ministry,
Okay,
the women's
sure.
ministry. Let me just check on the time. We've got about 6 minutes before we need to go to commercial.
Okay.
So let's talk more about the time in the correctional facility. What were some of the? I'm sure you brought the Lord. I know you brought the
I
Lord
did,
in.
yeah.
So what kind of transformation happened in the kids that you mentored? Because that's really what you were
It is,
doing.
yeah.
Right?
Change. A lot of them I still talk to this day.
Oh,
Always.
do you really?
Oh yeah,
Oh my God, I
I
love
still
that.
talk to them to this day, because I saw who they could be, as opposed to what was done
Right.
to them. You know, so I had to go in with my vision, because when you're working for the state, this is what we do, this is what it is.
Right.
You know, and so I had to go in with my vision of what who I am, find something that, find somebody that I was relating to that can bring change. Because when it comes to females, young girls, the emotions are horrible.
Well, yeah, because they're
Right, but
they got your period,
yeah, yeah. But
I mean,
but
just hormones.
standing your ground. So
Yeah.
I always stood my ground. I was always firm but fair.
Yeah,
I always spoke, but I always had compassion on my face.
you have to.
You know, and so it was easy some days, and then some days it wasn't.
I bet.
You know, yeah, it wasn't. Especially when you're dealing with people who don't believe in God, or kids who don't want to, but they want to know about it. And so I was the representation for myself,
Right.
knowing that, okay, these kids are watching, because I needed somebody when I was their age. You know, there wasn't a me.
Right. And they're in this place because they didn't have
Right.
that relationship.
And choices, exactly,
Yeah.
choices and
Yeah.
decisions, yeah. So, you know, when I think about it, I was one of those girls, probably a couple of those girls, because when
Yeah.
you really think about it, I had to look at, and I say this to women a whole lot, we have to look at when you was 10, 8, 15,
Right.
20, where are all those personalities, where's all the brokenness?
And we're all broken.
Exactly. So sometimes you just have to sit down, and I did it for myself.
Yeah.
Talk to the 5-year-old. Hey, you've got to go rest, because I can't love in a 5-year-old stage. You know,
Right.
because it was what was taking place with me in my life. I was bringing that into places and relationships that it didn't
And
need to be.
we don't even realize that we're doing that.
Exactly. Until somebody
know?
walks out of your life, or until your kids say,
Right.
hey, you know, this is how you made me feel. No one, the mindset. So creating boundaries for myself, lots of tears, lots of
Yeah.
crying, lots of loneliness, but you get through, not quick, but you get
You
through.
can't. You can't
Yeah.
get through quick. If you do, you're not really dealing with what
Exactly.
happened.
And trauma.
Right,
Tra-
and trauma is
trauma.
so. And I believe everybody walks through trauma in their life, starting as a young child,
Oh, yeah.
because you have broken parents.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Trauma
and it's
bond.
not. And they do the best job that they can, but they're also broken, and they
Yeah.
need to be healed, and
Yeah.
they may not have gone through the healing process and restoration process.
Well, sometimes
right?
people don't know, and what
Yeah.
I talk to a lot of people about is trauma bond. If you've had trauma in your life, and somebody else has had trauma in their life, you may get together just because of that pain. You can feel the
Right.
pain. After the pain
And you don't
is
even
over,
know you're doing it.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
Exactly. So after the pain is over, you look at this person and say, why are we even together?
Right.
What are we even doing here? Like what? And then you see so many broken, and then it's a pattern. And this is why it's so important to know who you're marrying before you marry. They may look good, smell good,
Right.
come dressed up Friday
Yes.
night. Oh my gosh, it's me and you.
Isn't that the truth? You have to be equally yoked. That's the bottom line. And
Well-
if you're not, then don't do it.
Well, remember the price of eggs went up a while ago, so the yolking piece.
Right.
And now people just get together because it feels good. Just the generation now is just, I'm here with you tonight. I'll talk to your friends tomorrow. It's different. It's totally different.
Well,
but
I think social media is part of that.
Oh,
And-
social
and
media is
it's
huge.
sad, and it's like, get off social media.
Yeah.
And like put your phone down.
Yeah.
And sit and talk to a person eye to eye, face
Yeah.
to face.
Yeah.
Because I think that's so important.
It
because
is.
that's how we connect as human beings, is sitting across the table, breaking bread together, and just sharing who we are.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, but you know, those tables have changed. Those tables have changed. People build tables, and if it doesn't look the way you think it should look, we get up from it, and we go on about our business. You know, and the scripture talks about, you know, the Lord prepares a table for me in the presence of my enemies. I used to get up from the table because I didn't like being lonely. And I knew it was a blessing, but I wanted my friend to come and sit down and get, because the thing is, if your homies don't get none, you know, it's no fun. For me, it was like, I don't want to sit at this table, God. I know what you're doing, but I'm not ready. I don't want all that. Let me just come back to you when I'm
But
ready.
then he brings it back, because he's not going to let you go. You know, he brings that same situation up because you didn't deal with it, and then it's like, okay.
There's a couple times he slapped me on the hands. He was like, okay, you want to have a reprobate mind? Okay, go ahead.
Yep.
I'll see you when you come back. But I'm not going to let you go far,
Right.
but I'm going to let you go far enough so you can see what's what.
What's the ramifications of not
Is-
listening to him?
Exactly.
Okay, you guys, listen, we're going to take a real quick break, and we'll be right back.
Broughton Garage Door Sales now offers you a difference with the LiftMaster Secure View Ultra Quiet Smart Opener with camera, LED 360-degree lighting, and battery backup. Built-in camera adds video and two-way audio communication to the MyQ app. You can control, secure, and monitor your garage anytime, anywhere from your smartphone. Schedule today at Broughton.com.
Just simply call Broughton. We open doors for you.
Tavilla Properties, located at 11471 West Sample Road, Suite 17, located in Coral Springs, Florida, for all your commercial needs. Call Jan at 954-341-1632. That's 954-341-1632, or visit www.tavilla.properties.com.
Discover Rosie's Garden. The collection draws inspiration from the beautiful niece of the founder, Rosie, who brought joy to many before passing too soon. Her beauty and spirit are reflected in every piece. Founded by two friends, Rosie's Garden is a female-owned brand passionate about creating stunning, elegant jewelry that embodies the concept of bellissima, the Italian word for beautiful. With a philosophy rooted in grace and elegance, the brand crafts each piece of jewelry using only the finest materials, including 18-karat gold and the highest quality craftsmanship, ensuring that every piece is a true work of art.
Welcome back to Faith Stories. If you have any prayer requests, please email me at faithstorieswithdawn@gmail.com. That's faithstorieswithdawn@gmail.com. And we're back. Okay, Dee, Reverend Dee, girlfriend.
Yes.
Let's wrap it up. Your ministry. Talk about that.
It's Womanly Wisdom Ministries was created like 13, 14 years ago, and it's for women who have had some struggles in their life. And if you change the mindset,
which is every woman.
Yeah, yeah. And so we have it in 7 cities and 2 countries.
Awesome.
And yeah, so I travel a lot speaking to women because when you can change the mindset of a woman, you can actually help change her family and save her family.
Absolutely.
I do life coach, recovery coach, mental health coach, spiritual coaching. I'm a part of SEH, which is women. It's a women's group that is in New York City, Sisters Empowering Sisters, and then there's one I'm a part of in Atlanta called Sound Minded Sisters, and they all are part of Womanly Wisdom, but they have broken off into their own ministries. And so basically what I do is just talk to women constantly. They'll call, I'll counsel. Like I said, if I travel and go places, I'm always available to go speak if people need me to come and speak.
And how do they get in touch with you?
They can actually call me. I don't do a lot of, I used to do a Facebook, but now I'm kind of off of it because it's so raggedy. But I tell people to call me personally because I like to hear their voices.
Okay.
But they can also go to DianeWashington62@yahoo.com, and you can get in contact with me there. But Womanly Wisdom is amazing, and there's so many. We have street ministry, healing ministry, where I travel to a farm and do the whole body ministry. Is so much into Womanly Wisdom. I'm just grateful, and I want to thank my husband, Reverend Jones, who came out with me today. He's been a big influence in just me healing in this process. So I would say to women, make sure that you minister in healing.
You have to.
You have to. And
Yeah.
and 2026 is a year of accountability.
Absolutely.
The door.
Oh, yeah.
Accountability. So.
All right,
yeah.
girlfriend.
Yes.
I love you. I'm so glad we met in
Thank you.
person, and I'm going to have you
Finally.
back for sure.
Yes, please.
Listen, you guys, thank you so much
Oh,
for
no
coming
problem.
on. And
I
thank you,
appreciate
Paula,
it.
for
Yes,
introducing
Paula.
me to her.
Paula. Love Paula.
All right. So, you guys, next week I have Heather Farley. She's a young lady that I met, and you need to tune in. She has an amazing story. You're not going to believe it. It's crazy. So join us next week at 3 o'clock and on Wednesday, and have a blessed day.
Thank you for watching Faith Stories, where you will hear stories of hope, faith, and love. Please join us next week, and remember, God meets you where you are, but doesn't leave you where you are.